When you're doing your closing cash paperwork, if you find out that you have a variance at all, you need to actually submit a cash variance form. That way you can explain to Sprint why you're missing that cash, and we can take the appropriate steps to correct the mistake. The first step is opening up iConnect on a Wise terminal, and you're going to type in the URL bar CVF, which stands for Cash Variance Form. You're going to log in with your ADID username and password, which is the same logins you use to access the Wise terminal. This will open up the cash variance form. I'm going to go ahead and just fill this out with you. First, you're going to fill in the store number, your email. I typically put my Brightstar email. You then need to submit it to your performance operations manager. If you don't know who that is, please contact your district manager. At this point, you should go ahead and fill out the date of occurrence. These need to be filled out within 24 hours of the variance. So I typically recommend, and it's my policy in my store, that it's filled out at the same time as finding the variance. I don't want them to be delaying getting it done. The closing store manager's name, so the ASM, sales lead, or manager on duty. So let's just say I made the mistake. Or not that I made the mistake, but that I was present. You'll then put what the system affected is. So there's 3 different systems we're referring to. There's the APC, which is a cash machine. If you do not have a cash machine and you have no idea what that is, you don't need to worry about it. Or, and I believe most of our Brightstar locations do not have these. There's also the point of sale floats. So that would be the ones that you would use as your cash tills. Or there's also the point of sale store, which is your reserves. So the $300 or however much you have in the back that you're not actively using to give customers change. Typically, the error will be in floats. Then there's three very, very distinct issues that you need to talk about. So the type of error. So the one is a true cash variance. And that means we just didn't handle the cash properly, meaning we gave the customer too much change, too little change, whatever. And this could result in a chargeback to Brightstar and therefore to the rep. The most common one that I see is a processing error. It's very unlikely that we typically give customers the wrong change, at least at my location. And maybe we did something wrong. The other one would be a system issue. This is very rare. Typically, like I said, the most common is a processing error. Then now we need to describe what happened. So a really good example is, let's say we're taking a payment in GST. Oh, I gotta type that right. Payment in GST, and the customer wanted to pay a card. We selected a cash payment and tendered. Cash was never received. So in this case, and this actually happened to us last week, we were processing a transaction in GST, like it says. Customer wanted to pay card, we took a cash payment. We ended up using the billing refund tool, which there's another training on if you don't know how to use that, and we submitted a Oasis ticket to get that reversed. Then that will actually remove the bill payment from the customer's account. So that way, on the accounting end, Sprint sees that there was no cash taken and there was no payment taken, and so it zeroes out, so there's no chargeback. But in this case, we have a shortage of, let's just say, $300, okay? Because when we close, the payment hasn't been refunded yet. It takes a few days, so our drawers are showing as $300 short. So we're shorting $300. Then at this point, you would just put the employer responsible. Let's just say I did it. You'll put the register number. Every single receipt will say the register number on it. So let's just say it was register 3. The float number, those are also on your closing cash paperwork receipts, which you can refer to the closing cash paperwork videos if you don't know what those are. Let's just put 100 or something. A shared float, typically the answer is yes. I always recommend opening a shared float. The transaction number of the customer, of the transaction that was affected, the ban, the Oasis ticket number. Oasis always refers to the billing refund tool, and the method of correction going forward. So consultants will double check payment method being chosen before tendering. Once you have this all submitted, it'll submit the form to the POM. They will research it and verify what you're saying is true, and at that point, everything will zero out on the back office end. Like I said, if it ends up being a true cash variance, then you can go ahead and fill out what happened, who was responsible, and it is possible, depending on the variance, that Brightstar could get charged back. If it's something like 50 cents, a dollar, very unlikely you'll get charged back. But if it ends up being a big deal, like $500, it's very likely.